Going live. And we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Cody Miller Show, the ultimate swimming related show here on the internet. I'm your host, Cody Miller. Thank you guys for joining me today as we talk about all things in the world of swimming. That's whatever you guys want to talk about. That's what I'm here for. And before we get started, this show, I'm going to take 5 or 6 main topics of the day. No Instagram questions today. And how do you get your question answered by me on one of my live shows? It's easy. Send me an email to thecodymillershow@gmail.com. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see your question answered by me on one of my live shows. And without further ado, let's get started. So our first question of the day comes to us from Karen McKenzie, who says, "Hi, Cody. I hope this finds you well, and I've really been enjoying all of your content lately. In several of the recent episodes, you mentioned your upcoming trip to South America as part of Team USA. It sounded like Ray was going to Korea. So for long periods of time, when you're separated from your primary coach, who writes your workouts? Do you get them all ahead of time from Ray? Does the coaching staff at the meet write them? How do you decide? Thanks for the question." Okay, so this is a really great question. So right now, I'm about, what's today, like the 12th? So I'm like a little less than a month away from competing at the Pan American Games. And a few of my training partners and my primary coach, Ray, is off in Singapore right now for a training camp prior to World Championships. So World Championships is in Korea and Team USA is on a training camp in Singapore. And so they're away. So right now I'm training without my primary coach, but we've got lots of coaches here at IU. Basically, this is how it works. When a head coach of a program, be it Dave Durden at Cal or Eddie Reese at Texas or Ray Luce here at Indiana, whoever it is, when one of those coaches is selected for a U.S. national team swim meet, usually, I can only speak from my experiences with Ray, but I'm pretty sure other coaches do the same thing. Usually, Ray will write out all of the workouts for all the different groups he writes a week or two in advance before he leaves, so that when he leaves, they're all here for me. So I have all of my breaststroke workouts leading into when I go to Peru for the Pan American Games, and my workouts for when I'm there. Those are all already written. And for the most part, luckily I've been doing this long enough where I can kind of decide what I need to do here and there and kind of pick apart certain workouts to kind of choose what I need. But yeah, so like all the swimmers here at IU who swim with Ray and swim for Ray, they get coached by other coaches. We have assistant coaches. But the workouts are all pretty much written in advance. And so like right now, Lily and I are still pretty much doing the same workouts. She's slowly starting to taper as she's just a few weeks out from World Championships, but the skeleton of the workout is the same. What Ray will oftentimes do is write one non-tapered practice. So like a typical breaststroke practice for us where there's a kick set, a pull set, and a swim set. And he'll write that out for people who are not tapering. And then he'll scale it down for people as they are tapering. So the intensity will drop, the volume will drop. So it's like he's got a blueprint, and then we kind of scale it down, and we slowly scale more and more down as we lead into big meets. That's kind of how it works. So all the workouts are already written. Now, there are some days where things change. Some days you come in, you're feeling really, really good, and you want to do a little more fast stuff, or the opposite. You know, there are game day calls, obviously, but that's generally speaking how it works. Thank you so much for the question. And our next question of the day comes to us from Annie Hackett, who says, "Hello, how many calories do you eat in one day?" I get this question a lot. "Also, I was wondering how much popcorn you ate when watching Stranger Things and Spider-Man. Thank you. Your biggest fan, Annie." Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I hate this question. I get this question way too frequently. And the honest answer is, how many calories do I eat, or how many calories do swimmers need to eat? I don't know. I don't really care. I've never tracked calories. I've never in my life paid attention to how many calories I was eating. I've only ever paid attention to, am I eating enough to where I'm not feeling hungry? Am I eating enough so that I'm recovering properly? And am I eating the right things? As far as calories, I've never really paid attention to it. Now, I've read stuff that said like when Michael Phelps was training for like the 2008 Olympics, where he swam like 23 events in 1 week or in like 8 days. In the peak of his training, he was eating like 12,000 calories a day. I don't know if that's true. I think that's a little high, even for training that much, even for someone going like 80,000 meters or 90,000 meters a week. I still think that that's a bit high, but honestly, I don't know. So anyway, I'm putting that out there. I'm finally answering that question because I get asked that a lot. But calories, I don't pay attention to calories. I honestly don't think it's that important. Okay, so thank you for the question. And our next question of the day comes to us from Jeff Martin, who says, "Hey Cody, just wanted to say I've watched the vlogs since you started making them, and they've inspired me to train and swim faster since then." Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. Oh, I just lost it. Okay, it's back. My question is, what is your process for choosing what meets you swim at? Is there a reason for swimming in the Pan American Games and choosing not to swim at World Championships? Wishing you the best at the games, Jeff. Okay, thank you for the question. Really great question. So, as far as selecting meets throughout the year, there are certain meets that we as U.S. national team members are required and obligated to go to. For example, being on the U.S. national team, if you're on funding, you are obligated to compete in at least 3 of the Tier Pro Series meets. So you have to go to those. In the upcoming months, when the ISL starts, we are contractually obligated to go to the ISL championship meets, the scheduled meets that our teams are supposed to compete at. Like, we have to go to those. And then, we try to go to at least one competition a month throughout the year. More racing is generally better, depending on the time of the season. But as far as meets like World Championships and the Pan American Games and World University Games, those meets are selected. I mean, there's very specific selection criteria that is all listed on the USA Swimming website. But for me, in my case, I made the Pan American Games team. I qualified for it last summer. So last summer at Summer Nationals, I got 5th place in the 100-meter breaststroke, which was a bit disappointing for me. But I got 5th place, and that is what qualified me for Pan American Games. So what happened was last summer at U.S. Nationals, the top 2 qualifiers, the top 2 winners, so first place and second place in each individual Olympic event, qualified for World Championships. Okay. The next 2 spots went to World University Games, which you have to be eligible for college in order to compete in that meet, at least here in the United States. So if you got 3rd place in the 100-meter freestyle and you're 19 years old and you're in college, you're going to World University Games. My buddy Zach Apple, a guy you guys have probably seen in the vlog a little bit, he just won gold at World University Games in the 100 freestyle. If you got 3rd place at that meet and you're 25 or 26, or in my case, 27 years old, you're not eligible to go to World University Games because it's University Games. You're too old. You're not eligible for college. So then the next meet is the Pan American Games. So I got 5th place, which basically put me on the Pan American Games. It's this weird structure hierarchy. I don't know if I made it more complicated by explaining it that way, but that's basically how it worked. So yeah, and the fact that we qualify a year out, I've talked about that on my podcast and on the show before. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for USA Swimming to do that. I do think that will change. I do think that eventually we'll get to the point where we have a trials and a qualification for every major meet. So in certain years we have, like in 2017, we had a World Championship trials a month before World Championships. Every Olympic cycle, we have an Olympic trials right before the Olympic Games. It just makes sense to do it that way. I've gone into detail about why they keep doing it, why they shouldn't do it. But yeah, so I'm going to Pan Am's because that's the team I qualified for, and I'm super psyched about it because it's a games, so it's not just swimming. There's athletes from all of the different countries in North and South America doing all kinds of different sports. We stay in a village. It's a games experience, which is fun, and I'm excited for it. So should be good. Thank you so much for the question. I hope that I cleared that up a little bit. I don't know if I made it more complicated. Who knows? And thank you for the question. Our next question comes to us from Johnny Patton, who says, "Hi, Cody. I was wondering if you had any advice for kids roughly around the age from 13 to 15 years old that are trying to focus on one specific stroke. What's your take on this? Do you think that it is good or bad to focus on one stroke at a young age? Thanks, Johnny." Okay, I'll give you my quick analysis and thought on this. I think that as an age group swimmer and growing up, you should do every stroke. I can only speak from my experience, and some coaches will disagree with this, but I had to do every single event pretty much every year, all the way up till the time I was about 17 years old. My club coaches Ron Aiken of the Sandpipers and Chris Barber made me do pretty much every event every single year. And I'm really glad they made me do that. I think that it made me appreciate the sport more. It made me appreciate what my teammates have to do. And it kind of made me a little bit more well-rounded. So if you're, between the ages of 13 and 15, it's okay to focus on one stroke and have a primary stroke, obviously, and have one event that you're focusing on. But I think that it's good to still work on off strokes. I think that it's still good if you're a backstroker to do a butterfly event and to do a little bit of butterfly. Because I think I look at it as athleticism, right? So if you're a basketball player, you need to be able to do a range of things, right? You need to be able to sink free throws. You need to be able to shoot from the 3-point line. You need to be able to guard. You need to be able to screen. You need to, your passing game needs to be on. And I think the same goes for swimming. Like the better you get at other areas of swimming, like the better you get at butterfly, it just makes you more athletic, right? Like I don't see how. I think there's a correlation between like the better my butterfly gets, the better my breaststroke gets, or the better your freestyle gets, the better your backstroke gets. And maybe there's correlation, maybe there's not. Like that's open for debate. But I just see it as like, if you're an athlete, the more well-rounded you are, the better you're going to be. That's just my perspective. I don't know. Maybe there is no correlation whatsoever. Like a lot of times some breaststrokers can only do breaststroke and that's it. And they're really, really good at it and that's okay. But then you have other breaststrokers who, like my teammate Ian Finnerty, who just won gold in the 100 breaststroke at World University Games. Great job, Ian. We're super proud of you. He's a really, really good freestyler. Like his 100 and 200 yard free is incredible. Like he was on Indiana's 4x200 freestyle relay at NCAA's, and they got second place. He's a breaststroker. But that's just because he's well-rounded and athletic. So I don't know. It's a debate to be had. Maybe it matters. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. I personally think that it can't hurt. So as far as focusing on one stroke, it's okay to do that, but don't neglect everything else. That's what I would say. That's the advice that I would give if my advice is worth anything. All right. Thank you for the question. And our next question of the day comes to us from Jennifer Cool. I don't know. I'm butchering it. But at the end of it, it says from Josie. Okay, we'll go with Josie. It says, my name, here we go, I'm reading it. It says, my name is Josie. I'm a swimmer and I'm 11. Well, hello, Josie. What's your favorite thing to do after a swim meet? My favorite thing to do is eat. Thanks. Yes. After a swim meet, my favorite thing to do is splurge and eat foods that I normally can't eat. Like there's a whole list of things that I love to eat that I can't eat very often. And that I particularly can't eat before training or racing, like pizza, like hot wings. Those are my go-tos. Sometimes steaks, but I can eat steaks during the week, just only for dinners. So for me, it's like I get a whole pizza with some pineapple, some ham, maybe some banana peppers, thin crust. Oh, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. I'm getting really hungry just thinking about it. Yeah, that's like my favorite thing. Spend time with my friends. Allie and I go to the movies a lot, maybe go to a movie, play with my dogs. A lot of times if we're gone for a period of time and I get back and I get to see my fur balls, it's really nice. So yeah, I would say I look forward to eating the things I can't normally eat. Lots of popcorn. I eat absurd amounts of popcorn. There's that. Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. And our next question comes to us from Chris Hoover. And this is our final question of the day, guys. And Chris Hoover says, hi, Cody. Love the blog, vlog, and show. As a swim parent, I know you are an amazing... Let me start this over. I know you are an inspiration to many age groupers, both from your in the pool success and your high visibility on YouTube. Keep it going, please. Thank you. My question, why do you still represent Sandpipers when you do almost all of your swimming at IU? Does IU not have an affiliated club team? And doesn't Ray want the added publicity of representing Indiana? Best of luck at Pan Am's Go USA. Thanks, Chris. Okay, thank you for the question. I think I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again. So, yes, I trained at Indiana. I live here in Bloomington, went to college here. I love it. But I still represent the Sandpipers in Nevada, my home club team. Now, that's the club team I grew up swimming. There's a number of reasons why I choose to represent them. The biggest one being that, well, let me just say this. So, in the swimming world, the majority of people who know who I am, and I'm by no means like a celebrity or famous or anything, but in the swimming world, most people know who I am. And most people, an overwhelming majority of people, know that I still train at Indiana, especially because anyone who's ever watched my videos knows like I'm at IU. So there's already a whole lot of publicity for Indiana for me swimming, making videos. That's just kind of a known thing that I train at IU with all the IU pros and the college team. And not as many people know where I came from and my background. Like, not as many people know that I grew up in Las Vegas and then I swam for the Sandpipers. And it's important to me that people do know that, because I swam for that team for nearly 10 years before coming to Indiana. And that team and that program and those coaches gave me the foundation upon which my career was built on. Right. So without the years in training and everything that I learned and everything that I did and everything that I went through at the Sandpipers in Nevada, I would not have come to IU and I would not have been as successful as I am. And I really believe that. So I want to give them the publicity. I want to proudly represent a team that I'm very proud of. I like the fact that Ron Aiken's distance group is like known as one of the hardest groups in America in USA Swimming. Like, I think that's awesome. I'm like super prideful of that. And then on top of that, it's also like a sponsorship thing. So we're in a time period where pro swimmers, people coming out of college, need to find ways to support themselves and continue training to achieve their dreams, continue training to try and make an Olympic spot, continue training to try to make a world championship team. And most national team swimmers coming out of college don't have much form of income, right? And so there are a lot of club teams that are willing to support their alumni and their now pro swimmers with some financial support, with whether it's just helping with travel to swim meets, whether it's food, whether it's whatever. It's kind of a partnership. So, Sandpipers, it's a little bit of a sponsorship. So they help cover certain costs for me, and in return, I represent them and wear their cap, and I wear it proudly because I'm very much still a part of that team, which is awesome. And so that's the biggest thing. And there are other programs around USA Swimming that do the same thing, that will pay their alumni a little bit of money in exchange for representing them, and both parties benefit. Prior to this year with this ISL, there was no pro team where athletes were actually getting paid to represent their team. And like, now we have this league, and like, we're living in this cool time, and I'm super excited about it. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for the question. Hope I cleared that up. Yeah, and I'm going to cut this show a little bit short because I got some stuff to do. Normally, this is the time where I take Instagram questions, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to cut it short. Thank you guys for watching. I am working on finding a way to do live questions. I can see the chat right now. Like, I see people are talking. People are saying puff and Lego. This is really cool. Anyway, thank you guys so much. As always, make sure you guys are following me on social media at SwimMiller on Twitter and at Cody Miller on Instagram. Vlogs every Wednesdays and sometimes on Friday. Like, I've got a vlog going up tomorrow morning, which is super cool. A lot of people have been asking me about weight training and stuff, and there's some of that in the vlog, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I might try to do 2 a week here and there, but I'm really excited to make some videos when I'm in South America and at Pan Ams and stuff. I think that'll be super cool. And yeah, if you guys want to get a main topic answered by me on this show, submit your question to thecodymillershow@gmail.com. Try to keep your email with less than 90 words. Try to keep it short because I go through a lot of emails. It's really, really difficult. And yeah, podcasts are coming. I will eventually, I know I say this all the time, but eventually I will get it down to where there's a schedule, so I'm doing them more regularly. That's coming too. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And until my next video, I will see you guys later. And